Hey, welcome to the Leverage Advantage Show, where we share with you the best ways to generate the most income with the least effort. Today, we have with us Croyden Wheeler. He is a fitness professional and a strong advocate of ketones. What is that? Maybe you can ask him later. He helped open up the market in Australia for Pruvit's therapeutic ketone product called Ketone OS. And he went from $0 to $34,000 a month with over 8,000 people in his organization within 12 months. Hey, Croydon, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it, brother.
Hey, guys. Thanks, Faz.
Hey, so I've known Croydon for a while now, and I've actually witnessed his journey. And to me, his growth has been nothing short of spectacular. When I said 34,000, I don't mean sales. I don't mean revenue. I mean income. How many of you would like to be able to learn how to build $34,000 a month of income within the next 12 months? So, Croydon, why don't you start by telling the viewers, what do you do and who do you help?
Well, basically, I'm a fitness professional, so I've got a fitness studio here on the Gold Coast of Australia. But now that runs completely by itself, and on the other business that I run is obviously getting people into ketosis. So that's one of the main things that I'm doing now, and who I help is anyone from the age of 2 to 92.
Nice. And what's your story, Croydon? Tell me, how did you get started in your business journey?
Yeah, I mean, I'm originally from New Zealand and was hated school. I only went to school to play sport and hang with my friends, and that led me to getting in the fitness health professional game as soon as I left school. And so I started as a personal trainer, and from there, about 8 years down the track of being a PT working for companies, I decided to start my own business on the Gold Coast called Fit Body Boot Camp, and basically we run 30-minute indoor boot camp sessions in a group environment run by personal trainers. And so I started that 3.5 years ago, and I opened another studio a year into my business. So I had 2 studios, and then I was shown the power of therapeutic ketones August last year, and decided to add that to my business profile. And now I have 2. So I have run the ketones and obviously still have the fitness studio that completely runs by itself now. And I just enjoy going in there, saying hello to all our members and training with them.
That sounds awesome, man. What was the turning point for you when you decided that this is what you wanted to dive into, this is what you wanted to commit to and go all in on?
Yeah, good question, because I went from a personal trainer working for a company, right, trading time for money, and enjoyed it. But there was a point where, I was taking 50 to 60 one-on-one personal training sessions, and I would get to a Friday night and crash on the couch, and my wife would be like wanting to do dinner with friends, and I'm like, I ain't moving. I've been working so hard, and just the paychecks just wasn't, I just didn't reflect the effort that I was putting into. And so unfortunately for them, but lucky for me, the company I was working with 3.5 years ago closed down, and overnight I lost my job. And I decided for me to put on my big boy pants and run my own business. And so that's when I discovered Fit Body Boot Camp. And that was great. I mean, but I knew the transition. Basically, I worked for a company, and then all of a sudden I realized I just own a job. So I was still working my butt off, but it was the work that I put in. It was just a business that I owned. And so that was cool. But also I realized that, look, in the end, I'm still trading time for money. And it was more stressful because you have lease agreements, outgoings, utilities and stuff like that. So, but I built it up to a point where I could have some staff and have some sort of flexibility, but would still go on a holiday, my wife and I'd come back and I'd have to start over again because I was out of the studio. So I was still taking a lot of sessions and still being involved in the studio, and then obviously I decided to open up another studio, which made it even worse, right? It just took so much of my time and energy. And anyway, So the ketones landed on my desk and I tried it and I fell in love with it straight away through the effects that it had in my body. And was my epiphany, was like, okay, this makes sense. I'm still being able to fulfill my goals and helping people with their health and fitness, but this is a product that I know that works and it's online. All the systems are taken care of. I just have to follow those systems. And that was my epiphany bridge, I guess you can say. My turning point was, now I have time back. And so now I can wake up every day having complete control over my time. I decided to get on this podcast, not because I had to. Like that, I decide my day, what I want to do, rather than what my previous fitness business was. I had to go to the fitness studio to take sessions because I had to pay bills. So that was me. That was my turning point. I realized online, a product that works, systems are there, and I just plug into it. And now I've been able to reach thousands of people from around the world, whether it's directly or indirectly through this product, than what I've ever done in my local community just by taking indoor boot camp sessions.
That's a really interesting point, Croy, because here's what I've learned in building my own business. Well, we run a service-based business or a training business, and it can be very profitable up to a certain point, because in such a business, it's difficult to free your body from the business. You're always going to have to be in it. And only until we were able to build systems and bring in the right people to help run the business, to help run delivery, were we able to even somewhat free ourselves from the business. And what I want people to know is that you're a successful businessman in your own right. You run your own studios, but you are still looking for a way to scale your income without trapping your body in that business. And that's a lot of people don't realize this. They look at network marketing and then, they don't understand it's just a distribution model, but everything is taken care for you. All you need to do is just be really good at one thing or two things, and you'll be able to build a business that scales. And another thing that I learned, like that I'm reminded of when you talk about your experience, is this. When you want to grow a really, really big business, and if it's a service-based business, oftentimes what happens is your growth is quite limited with a service-based business, because it's very people-dependent. Even if you don't deliver, somebody else has to. But when it comes to a product-based business, it's just about delivering that product. And then your business can actually reach a much greater heights. And I think that's something that you identified early on. That was your turning point. Now, so here's what I understand. I understand that when you brought the product into Australia at that point, Australia wasn't one of the geographies or one of the markets that they were in. So what were your biggest challenges in building that business, and why did you decide to go all in on that business, even though you know that there were huge challenges ahead of you with the company not being in Australia?
Great question. And it was simple. Simple answer was, in the fitness industry, it's what we call, I don't know if you've read the Blue Ocean strategy, but in the fitness industry, it's a red ocean, right? There is a boot camp, a gym, a 24-hour gym, CrossFit on every corner of a block here in Australia. And it's getting like that around the world. So it was a flooded market. We were all competing, and it was a bloodbath. And so when I saw this ketones, I saw the benefits, but I also saw what the company's vision is in a blue ocean. The company was creating a new market, a blue ocean strategy, innovation where there had been no market before. And so that was what got me through the vision and all the tough things that we had to do to just get product into Australia. And that's where my focus was. I knew that this was a blue ocean. It had the science and research backed, but we have a product now that is going to benefit people, and it's a whole new market, whole new conversation. So from there, how we got it in, man, we went, it was some tough times, right? Third-party shipping companies, shipping delays. I remember one time in December last year, America had a big snowstorm, and so product from Dallas to the third-party shipping company that we're using in Portland, Oregon, there was no product going there, and it delayed our product getting to Australia to our customers by like 4.5 weeks. And so just dealing with stuff like that of complaints and things like that, the vision of knowing the market and thinking long term, that blue ocean, that I know that this is still young, it's going to be even bigger than what it is before. That's what got me through those hurdles, basically.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Croy. Now, here's what I want to ask, and I think a lot of listeners want to know, what's the big tip or advice for listeners when it comes to creating leverage in their business?
Systems, for sure. Definitely systems. If you have simple systems that people can say the words, I can do that, I can follow that, then you can create duplication and leverage off that, for sure. So that's basically my biggest thing, is systems that work and are duplicatable. But also for me, just having this intensity, I just have this intensity that I really care about people when they want it. And I feel, for me, leverage is just really caring in humans. And if they want things, then give them whatever you can to help them grow, for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, and yeah, I had a look through your system and how you do things. What I love about it is that the system is so simple. It's built in a way that it's so simple that anybody can just read those steps, do it, and get the result. So that's what I really liked about your system. If you could travel back in time 10 years and tell your old self one thing, what would it be?
Become an entrepreneur. Create your own life, and don't have your life created by circumstances, basically would be what I'd say. Just, you can do it, man. Go for it. Do whatever you want, sort of thing. So that's what I'd say to myself 10 years from now.
Nice. And what does ultimate leverage look like to you?
Ultimate leverage, is just basically knowing that you can see a business grow when you go to bed. It's what I call pajama money, right? Ultimate leverage, as in financially, that's what I see that in, to create true wealth, but also as in leverage, ultimate leverage in people, and the feeling of knowing that I can coach and lead and develop individuals and make them better than what they actually think they are, and those side of things as well as being is the ultimate leverage, is where you can coach people that can mirror you in a way. And what to you is the biggest secret to building a large organization? Yeah, it's what I call DMOs, right? Daily method of operations. It's just the daily activity that you continually do, right? That's what I will be doing for the next 15 to 20 to 40 years. It's just the daily actions to keep growing and keep the systems going. That would be my biggest advice for people. I mean, I love sports. I always just relate it back to sports stars like Roger Federer and LeBron James and these likes. LeBron James just continue to shoot hoops every day. Same with Roger Federer. He would have just hit thousands of tennis balls just working on his craft. It's the same thing in business. Continually do the steps that work for a long period of time to create true wealth.
Awesome. Right, we're going to do some quick fire questions now.
Cool.
Right, so first question is, what's the best advice you've ever received?
The best advice was probably just recently from Gary Vaynerchuk, saying, "You're gonna die."
Nice, I like that. I heard that too. And can you share one of your personal habits that you strongly believe contributes to your success? I know you mentioned like DMOs, but specifically, what is something that you do every day that helps you become successful?
For me, I read and I move my body. That's one of my things. I know the importance of having a fit mind and a fit body. So obviously keep moving. I make sure I move my body, and and I do personal development. I read a book or listen to like a podcast like this.
Excellent. And what book then would you recommend as a must read?
Oh man, just one, or can I mention a couple?
Well, if you had to choose one, what is one book that they absolutely must read?
I would say Think and Grow Rich if you're in that space of growing your mind and becoming a successful entrepreneur or businessman or woman, for sure. Think and Grow Rich.
Nice. Like the last three people, including you, that I've interviewed have all said Think and Grow Rich. So I hope that's a message to anybody listening. It's a book that you just have to read. You know, I'm just looking at it right now. It's on my shelf. I think every successful person would have read Think and Grow Rich as well. Okay. Here's one question for you. Like, if you had 30 seconds left to live, because Gary Vee says you are gonna die. Right? Yep. What's one piece of advice you would give to the listeners?
Well, it would be what I just recently learned from Mel Robbins and reading a book, The 5-Second Rule. The best advice was stop procrastinating. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
I love it. So we're close to the end of the interview, but I think a lot of the readers, a lot of the listeners, would probably not know as much or not know enough about ketones as you do, for sure. And I'd love for you to share a little bit more about what therapeutic ketones are, what they do for your body. I understand it's not a weight loss product, but tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I mean, basically what your body has is two fuel sources. You use glucose, all right, from carbohydrates and sugars that you consume, or you've got an alternative fuel source, which is a preferred fuel source that the body uses, which is ketones. And you can produce them endogenously, meaning ketogenesis, that you produce them in your body by following a strict ketogenic diet, which is a high-fat, low-carb diet, or you can do fasting, which is basically you don't eat anything, drink water for 3 days. And what happens is your body starts to break down its own fat, metabolize it into ketone bodies that is used for a fuel source. So there's heaps of research and science on this. You can Google ketones and inflammation, ketones and cancer, ketones and whatever, and you'll see multiple research data about the benefits of it. Well, now you can now drink them. So now therapeutically, you can drink what we call exogenous ketones and feeling the benefits within the hour, and the benefits of mental clarity, focus, energy, better sleep, better mood. Your body just functions better on ketones. And so that's basically it. It's like a lot of people just are sugar burners, and I just wanted as many people to start realizing that they have this alternative fuel source that they can use for everything, right? And so that's basically what ketones are. It's just think of it as your body's alternative fuel source. It's like, do you want to run on? It's like basically like if you've got a car, you run on petrol or diesel, or do you want a Tesla, where you run on this new electric fuel sort of thing? So you can choose now, because it's that easy to be able to just drink therapeutic ketones and switch your fuel sources straight away.
So when you drink those therapeutic ketones, your body's burning the ketones, or the ketones help your body switch from glucose to fat?
Yeah, your body will uptake the ketones straight away. And so that'll be used as a fuel source for your brain, so other organs, etc. Your brain loves ketones. So your body will absorb it. Now, how long will the benefits last? Anything from 2 to 8 hours, depending on your absorption of uptake of ketones. So what happens is, because you're using ketones, the reason why people are losing weight and it aids in fat loss and things like that is because you lose sugar cravings, because you're running on ketones rather than glucose, so your sugar cravings decrease. Your appetite suppresses as well, where you get control of your appetite, because when you're eating sugar, you're constantly having, these eating every 2 hours, because the sugar lasts not very long, and so you burn it up and then you crave it, and then you burn it up and then you crave it. So with ketones, you have a longer sustain of energy and fuel, so your appetite gets under control. Because the brain loves ketones and it gives it the right energy and puts you in the right mood, people want to move their body. They're thinking clearer. So is one of the main things where people get good fat loss results. It doesn't automatically just drink and then bang, you start burning up fat. If it was, I would be a multi-billionaire, right? It's more about the benefits, and people take it for fat loss because people are getting these amazing results, but they realize the power that it has on the brain, on the energy, and better sleep and better mood, that the byproduct of taking ketones is people just make better decisions, stop sugar, decrease cravings, appetite control, and that's where, and they feel better that they want to start moving. That's where the results come from that side of things as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That I think gives a lot of clarity. Thank you so much for being on the show, Croyden. I really appreciate you taking out the time. If people are interested in finding out more about you, how can you be reached? Where should they go?
You can find me on Facebook, Croyden Wheeler, so Croyden, and Wheeler, Wheeler. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram, and that's where you'll find me.
All right. Thanks a lot, brother. I really appreciate you taking out the time. Do tune in for our next couple of shows. We've got some amazing guests lined up. I hope you guys learned a lot, and I will see you in the next show. Cheers, bro.
Bye.
Hey there, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, check out the relevant video here, and don't forget to subscribe to us for more marketing tips, techniques, strategies that are working for us, or just more behind the scenes fun. See ya.